Hi, everybody. My name is Gabe. I love tabletop RPGs. That's my intro. Oh, and one more thing. I'm a perma DM. Collaborative storytelling is my passion, but I've always wanted to share with more than just my players. Today I'm telling the story of my current campaign. It is set in the American West in the late 1840s. While a small number of settlers had pushed westward in the few years prior, the land west of the Mississippi is still largely unexplored. Most consider it a wasteland, suitable only for natives. They are wrong. Welcome to the Weird Wild West. Gunslingers and opportunists, businessmen and criminals, outcasts and fortune seekers, natives and outsiders all converge in the rich beauty of wide-open nature. For untold millennia, the eldritch secrets of this land were recorded only in the stories of those who have lived here. Until now, when outsiders arrive and begin to learn their deepest, darkest secrets. Our story centers on 5 outsiders. Gavin Bear Jackson is an aimless drifter who retreats to the mountains each winter to trap furs. When the nights grow long, instinct draws him to the wilderness, where he loses himself for months. Spring has now come, and Bear has emerged from the mountains to sell his pelts in the newly built rock town, constructed almost overnight in the Rocky Mountains of western Colorado. Most people believe that Elsie Ward's mind is broken, but Elsie knows that she sees what others cannot. Deeply versed in the lore of cryptozoology and the conspiratorial rantings of certified lunatics, Elsie knows that the world most people see is only a small part of reality. But only she can see beyond. She has ridden her bicycle uphill for weeks on a newly built road west from Denver. It has been slow progress, but she has arrived in Rocktown on spring day, a worn parchment tucked in her pocket. Dressed in an exceptionally tailored silk shirt, Milo Papi rides his black stallion proudly into Rocktown. On his hip is a Colt Dragoon, an exquisite weapon, but Milo is on the run, having run afoul of the mob that controlled his block in New York City. When Milo gambles, there's never any doubt that he will get the card he needs, for his very imagination shapes reality. Milo arrives as miners are lining up at the bank to get paid their monthly salary, and he knows that fortune has smiled upon him once again. Joseph McLaren arrived in America only weeks ago, having fled Ireland in the wake of the potato famine and the destruction of his family at the hands of a local English duke. Joseph is lost, but his grandfather instilled in him a sense of purpose, to rid the world of the demons that work in the service of evil. Joseph arrived looking for work and found it at Carl's General Store. Bears have been attacking Carl's caravans, killing the guards. Then the wagons are often found burned and destroyed. Joseph is curious and eager to help. Rene Bontemps is also on the run, but his demons are of his own making. Once a carefree pirate, Bontemps now flees from the memories of his darkest deeds. He fled to California first, but agents of the Crown pursued him, threatening him with the gallows. He reluctantly left California and traveled inland to the east. With each passing day, he becomes more homesick for the sea. Penniless and desperate, Bontemps happens upon Rocktown while miners are lining up on payday. Early spring in Rocktown, Colorado. A light rain falls on the snow-topped mountains, peeking through a carpet of pines. At Carl's General, Milo is shopping and chatting with the jovial and effeminate Carl. Well, you know, Mr. Milo, you are our first out-of-towner we've had this spring. Sure is nice to see some new customers down at the store.
Well, now, Carl, I appreciate the kindness and hospitality you've shown this traveler. I'm eager to mingle with the locals and play some games with chains.
As the afternoon drags on, miners file into the bar in the back of the store to gamble and drink, excited about their payday and their next 2 days off. Milo sits down to join an energetic poker game. In his first taste of civilization in 6 months, Bear stomps into Carl's General and sells his pelts to Carl for a very fair price. Then he takes a seat at a rowdy table in the back and begins weaving tall tales of otherworldly monsters.
After weeks of finding my traps broken, my pelts mutilated, and my prizes stolen, I finally came across the first tracks of the beast that haunts these hills. The claws were the shape of an eagle, but the size of a bear.
With his jacket dusted, Bontemps joins them in his finest coat and silks, drawing some glances for his French style and language patterns. Sits with the locals, listening to Bear's stories.
Mon ami, it is a genuine pleasure to hear the harrowing tales of a real mountain man.
Elsie arrives after a long day of riding her bicycle uphill, hitches her bike to a post outside the store next to a few horses, and as she ascends the steps of Carl's General, she is met at the door by a huge man with thick beard and shoulders that block the double doors.
Hello, my name is Tom. May I accompany you and keep the unwashed masses at arm's length?
But of course, buy me a drink. I shall be listening to the storytellers.
While Tom scrambles to get her a drink, Elsie pushes into the crowd, oblivious to the fact that she is the only female in the establishment, and to the intensity of the lingering gazes from haggard miners in the crowd. As one gets too close, Big Tom looms behind her, and the other miners fade back, keeping their hands to themselves. From the stockroom, at the back of the store, Joseph heard the crowd growing and joined them. Our heroes gathered around the table, as Joseph regaled them with a mystery.
Carl's wagons are being attacked. Witnesses say that multiple large bars are working together. My investigations revealed scorch marks on the ground, and the wagons were looted clean. That doesn't seem like bars to me. I think there may be natives involved. Carl's got this rivalry with some loser named Trent. Trent told me that the natives were buying large amounts of salt. I think we need to find what the natives are up to.
The Mountain of the Sun is a holy site for the Ute people. I've never been there. The rumors say that it's haunted.
Over drinks and gambling stories, our 5 heroes agreed to join forces to trek to the Mountain of the Sun and seek answers. In the course of the evening, Big Tom lurked quietly around the table and was the target of Bear's repeated taunts.
Just because you got the biggest beard in the room doesn't mean you can talk at a table of adults.
I'm the foreman of Rock Mine, executive vice president of Rock Management Company, using nobody.
Never heard of those companies. Sounds pretty made up to me.
Fed up with Bear's provocations, Tom takes a wild swing, barely missing the mountain man with an oversized fist. Then Bear grabbed his things and fled for his life out of Carl's General and into the woods. In the night, while Bear was camped outside Rocktown, he witnessed Bontemps sneak behind a drunken miner, slit his throat, and steal his coin purse. Though it was the most cutthroat, heartless act of greed that Bear had ever seen, he knew better than to speak up. He kept his lips sealed. The next morning, Bear found tracks of 2 large bears heading towards the Mountain of the Sun. The tracks were muddled, but it seemed to be at least 2 grizzlies. It was strange to see them traveling together, but that was not the most worrisome thing that he found. Amongst the grizzly tracks were the prints of a naked human foot, striding through rough terrain and snow and rock. The prints had deep curved indentations that, if this had been the footprint of any animal, Bear would have thought were long claws. He shuddered, for the claws were twice the length of those of the adult grizzlies that they accompanied.
Hey everybody, Gabe, +1 head of talking here to talk to you again. Hey, remember to like and subscribe. See you next time on the Weird Wild West.